Sheryl Swoopes, she can't not try to light a fire involving Caitlin Clark. She can't just be good. She's trolling Caitlin Clark again, this time by celebrating the arrival of Paige Beck.
Sheryl Swoopes just made her latest move after getting fired from the WNBA. And this one was loud without her even having to open her mouth. She vaulted onto Gilbert Arenas' podcast rocking a Paige Beckers t-shirt now. Was it an endorsement of a promising young player? Not quite. It was a message, an underhanded swipe at Caitlin Clark, carefully disguised as support for someone else. Let's be honest, if there's one thing consistent about Swoopes these days, it's her relentless campaign to downplay anything Clark accomplishes.
That being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player said it.
Okay.
Right?
Because let's be real, the brighter Caitlin Clark shines, the more it seems to rattle the cages of a few former stars who aren't quite ready to share the spotlight. And Swoopes, instead of mentoring the next wave of greatness, keeps opting for the bitter route. She's not passing the torch, she's guarding it like it's her retirement check. But fans aren't blind. We see the pattern, and it's starting to look more desperate by the day.
We saw her get replaced during the Fever game for the Dallas Wings commentary team last year because of words and the hate she had towards Caitlin Clark. And it was just one thing after another. I said yesterday, even Stephen A. Smith crushed her last year.
This isn't about boosting Paige. This isn't about lifting up the game. It's about pushing the tired, worn-out narrative that Caitlin Clark doesn't belong. And let's be real, it's getting old fast.
Because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots.
Caitlin didn't ask for the spotlight. She earned it with record-breaking numbers, consistent excellence, and a level of poise you can't teach. She didn't rise through media favoritism or political sound bites. She rose because her game demanded it. No antics, no drama, just dominance. If you're tired of watching WNBA veterans pull gatekeeper moves like this, go ahead and drop a CC for MVP in the comments, because this isn't just shady, it's strategic. And we're not here for it.
Caitlin is fantastic, and I think she's going to have an incredible career in the WNBA.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark.
What is she doing wrong? What more do you want from Caitlin Clark? Seriously, what more do you want from her? She's focusing on the game. She lifted her team up, got them to the playoffs, won Rookie of the Year, and then also is denouncing racial tensions when she's asked about it. I'm sorry, I don't see anything more that Caitlin Clark should have done or could have done.
Let's not kid ourselves. This beef isn't new. Swoopes has had Clark on her radar long before Caitlin ever stepped onto a professional court. This isn't a one-time misunderstanding or a rogue sound bite taken out of context. This is a campaign, a steady drip of comments, criticisms, and calculated digs aimed at dimming the spotlight. Clark
She was remarkable on top of the fact that she had to deal with so much hate when she got to the WNBA.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason.
Confident.
And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't.
From throwing side eye during Clark's historic college run to trashing her impact on the league before she even got drafted, Swoopes has made her stance painfully clear. You remember when she tried to write off Caitlin's record-breaking NCAA tournament performance, or how she was yanked from commentary roles because of her anti-Clark stance. Yeah, even Stephen A. Smith had to jump in and say, "Okay, Sheryl, this is getting ridiculous."
Was a stupid decision because it compromises what your ultimate goal is, which is to elevate the WNBA brand.
That's not someone sharing a hot take. That's someone with an agenda. When your criticism is so loud it gets you benched by the networks. Yeah, something's off. What we're watching isn't just personal, it's professional insecurity dressed up as analysis. Swoopes isn't worried about Caitlin being good. She's terrified that Clark might be better ratings, better game, and a better future for the WNBA.
What a lot of these women are doing is they feel like what we have done for this game, this young player has come into our game and she's getting way more respect and all that stuff than we are. As she should. The young girl is a baller. The young girl has people watching because of the way she can shoot this basketball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't dunk. Steph Curry don't do none of that in the game. He can probably dunk by himself, but he don't really do none of that in the game. He is a shooter, and fans tune in to see Steph.
Caitlin Clark's rookie season has already eclipsed some of the most legendary seasons in WNBA history, including Swoopes' own MVP run. That's not a disc, that's data. But instead of acknowledging the rise of a once-in-a-generation talent, Swoopes has taken it upon herself to become Clark's most persistent critic, not because of basketball, but because of control. Caitlin's success rewrites the narrative, and Swoopes doesn't like that. She's no longer the one holding the pen.
Be mad. Never forget, in Swoopes' MVP season, she averaged less points, assists, and rebounds than Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Caitlin Clark's rookie year was quite a bit better than Sheryl Swoopes' MVP season.
What do you do when your legacy feels threatened? You cling to relevance. And what better way to get your name trending again than to poke the most talked about player in the game?
You're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given.
So yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing.
That brings us back to the t-shirt. Stunt Swoopes shows up wearing Paige Becker's name like it's just fashion, please. She knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't a nod to a rising star. This was shade, a message in cotton saying, I'll support a white player, just not that white player.
What are you doing? Look at this. Just stays, man. Were y'all talking about Caitlin Clark at this very moment? She knows what she's doing.
Let's not forget Swoopes has never thrown this kind of support behind Paige before. But the moment Caitlin Clark is dominating headlines, all of a sudden Paige is the new poster girl. Give us a break. The move was painfully transparent. Paige Becker's fits the ideological mold the WNBA's legacy insiders prefer, politically vocal, socially aligned. And someone they can shape. Caitlin, on the other hand, doesn't fit the mold. She doesn't play the politics. She doesn't chase the causes. She just plays hard, relentlessly, and brilliantly.
I've got a theory. Oh, look at me. I'm not really racist because I'm wearing the white girl's shirt. You see that? But the girl from the Midwest, y'all just happen to hate her completely.
And that terrifies people like Sheryl Swoopes because Caitlin Clark doesn't need their approval. She doesn't need to play their game. She's rewriting the rules entirely.
Only problem with this is, and this has been the problem the whole time with the Paige-Caitlin comparison, Paige is an activist basketball player just like these old WNBA players that's been in the league. All right? They're shilling she's all up in all the social stuff. And so that's why they're letting her in. That's why they're cool with.
So let's not pretend this was about Paige. This was a drive-by subtweet in t-shirt form. It's the oldest trick in the book: pit women against each other to make a statement you're too afraid to say outright. But here's the problem: fans are smarter now. They've seen Swoopes' history, they've seen the digs, they've seen the pattern. So when she throws on that shirt, they don't see support, they see petty, they see projection. They see someone who's still not over being replaced as the face of women's basketball.
Reason that Caitlin Clark is getting all of this attention is because she is an anomaly. She is a phenomenal player, and Paige Becker's is also a phenomenal player, but it just isn't the same. She doesn't do the same things. She doesn't do the things that have never been seen.
And the saddest part, Paige Becker's deserves better than to be used as a prop in someone else's vendetta. She's a great player in her own right. She doesn't need to be weaponized against Caitlin Clark just to help someone else make a point. We want to see Caitlin Clark. And we want to see Paige Becker's. Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient in the end. This all boils down to one thing: Caitlin Clark's success is inevitable, and no amount of shade is going to stop it. So Sheryl, you can wear all the shirts you want, but the numbers, the fans, and the future are all wearing one name, and it's Clark.
I enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot. Whether it's because her game mirrors one of the greatest players in the NBA in Steph Curry or not, I don't know what it is. It's an intangible thing, right? Yes, we can say she's a dog. Okay, there's been other dogs. Okay, she's a great shooter. There's been other great shooters. She has it. She's got the thing.
And for Caitlin Clark to have the awareness to drive the eyeballs there, you have to give her so much.
Let's just get straight to it. Sheryl Swoopes is not mad because Caitlin Clark is overrated. She's mad because Caitlin Clark is undeniable. And that more than anything has exposed some deep insecurities in people who once controlled the conversation when someone new walks into the room and starts commanding attention without begging for it, without playing by the usual rules. The gatekeepers get nervous. That's where we are with Sheryl Swoopes and the WNBA old guard.
By a point guard in a season in WNBA history, most double-doubles by a rookie guard in WNBA history, most points by a rookie in WNBA history, most assists by a rookie in the history of the WNBA, first WNBA rookie to record 2 triple-doubles, first triple-double by a rookie in WNBA history, first triple-double in Fever history, the first player to be named WNBA Player of the Month and Rookie of the Month in the same month, first player in WNBA history with 20 or more points, 15 or more assists, and 5 or more rebounds in a
Rather than acknowledge Clark's undeniable influence, Swoopes is pulling stunts wearing a Paige Becker shirt like it's subtle. But we all see it for what it is, a cheap deflection, a passive-aggressive jab dressed up like support. It's a move born from discomfort, not celebration, and the worst part. Swoopes thinks fans are too naive to catch the pattern. But we always do.
Happened is Caitlin Clark in her sophomore year and really in her junior year just started excelling and doing things that nobody had ever seen a female basketball player do. Like nobody had consistently been shooting these from the logo pass.
Caitlin Clark has done more in one season to elevate the WNBA than many veterans did in their entire careers. That's not shade. It's just reality. We're talking sold-out games, record-breaking viewership, massive revenue jumps, and jersey sales that leave even top NBA players trailing. She's igniting passion in places the league never reached. Iowa gyms are filled with kids who didn't even know what the WNBA was before Clark arrived. That's not hype, that's impact, and no t-shirt can erase that. At some point, we have to be honest. This constant undermining of Caitlin Clark is less about her flaws and more about others' fear of fading relevance. Swoopes doesn't want to confront the fact that Clark is not just one of the greats. She's already standing shoulder to shoulder with them, and in some metrics surpassing them. That's hard to accept for someone whose identity is tied to being the pioneer. But being a legend doesn't mean tearing down the next one climbing the mountain.
Many players who cite you as an inspiration for their games, including Caitlin Clark, who's just absolutely a phenomenon in college. What's that next step like for her?
You know, next steps, gosh, in this generation, right? You have, I think, just so many more challenges of how to handle yourself as an adult, right? You go through that whirlwind of being a senior in college, transitioning into the W. And then the next step is how to become just an even better leader. And so much of leadership, I think, is listening and learning. And hopefully the more she can get connected to vets in the league and just different people and coaches and anyone that she can glean wisdom from of how to just continue to learn how to be as a connected and inspiring leader as she can be. And a lot of that is walking the walk and not just talking the talk. So she's already on her way, but, continuing to have fun, continuing to anticipate how people are going to try to stop her and being prepared as she can be for next.
Let's also be clear, this isn't about Clark refusing to play politics. It's about how threatening it is when someone thrives without bending to the unwritten rules. Clark isn't checking in with legacy voices for approval. She's not tailoring her identity to fit into the ideological narratives that have dominated the league storylines. She just plays, and in doing so, she's forcing a full-on identity crisis in the WNBA's inner circle. You see it every time she's fouled. The coverage isn't about the physical play. It's about whether she deserves the attention. And let's not kid ourselves, if this were any other rookie, the league would be rolling out red carpets. But because Clark doesn't serve the narratives they've spent years building, they treat her like an intruder. Meanwhile, other players can launch elbows, throw shade, lose games, and still get applause. Why? Because they toe the line.
Remember when the WNBA started? I was thrilled. I was a fan. I couldn't believe it was an opportunity for me, a 5'2", 97-pound girl, to go play professional basketball. That wasn't going to happen for me, but the idea that it existed was special to me. And now she's offering that to not just little girls, but little boys as well. She's spread the
Swoopes and others like her aren't criticizing from a place of mentorship or concern. This is ego. This is control. Caitlyn's ascent is rewriting the WNBA as power dynamics. And for those who built the foundation, that's terrifying. But here's the thing: you don't stop a rising tide. By scoffing at the waves, you either learn to surf or get swept away. Let's talk numbers again. Clark's stat lines in her rookie season didn't just impress, they obliterated expectations. Rookie of the Month, Player of the Week, fan voted All-Star. She's stacking accolades faster than ESPN can keep up. And yet the focus keeps shifting to her attitude or her lack of activism, as if athletic excellence now comes with prerequisites. It's ridiculous. Caitlin Clark owes nothing to anyone except the game, and she's delivered on every level.
of the month 4 times, Eastern Conference Player of the Week 3 times, single season rookie record for assists, single season rookie record for 3-pointers, single game record for assists 19, franchise record for most double-doubles, 3-pointers, career 10 or more assists in a game, franchise record for most career 10 or more assists in a game. Fastest WNBA player to reach 100 3-pointers. She did it in 34 games, most assists by a rookie in a WNBA All-Star game, for which she received the most fan votes ever, 700,000 of those. Fastest player to reach 350 points and 150 assists to start a season, regardless of years in the league. People will say, pay more attention to the other folks. Like, she couldn't do it herself. You know, LeBron has teammates, Jordan had teammates. I understand.
The swoop stunned on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Let's call it what it is: a calculated PR move dressed up as fandom. Swoopes didn't choose a Becker shirt because she's a diehard UConn fan. She chose it because it was the latest way to needle Clark while pretending to stay neutral. I don't hate all young white stars, just the one that threatens my legacy. It's a strategy soaked in passive aggressiveness. Let's not even drag Paige Bueckers into this. She deserves her spotlight too, on her own terms. But she shouldn't be turned as a symbol of the acceptable version of the rising star. The WNBA doesn't need another civil war of coded favoritism. It needs truth, and the truth is Caitlin Clark has done more to bring national attention to the league than anyone in the last 2 decades.
Almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when Caitlin Clark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holdsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Joel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T-Clark, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical. Oh, they're going at them because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical.
Past Clark is shaping the future. She's leading, drawing fans, making headlines not because of controversy, but because of competence. She's not playing culture games. She's just playing ball. And doing it better than most. Let them roll their eyes. Let them make backhanded comments. Let them wear t-shirts. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is out here doing something legacy players should have welcomed, turning the WNBA into primetime television. She's showing up, doing her job, and forcing people to care about women's basketball again.